Hello, do you want to make a quick, delicious, and fluffy oatmeal bread? Well, don't miss it. The first thing I do is put an egg in a large bowl. Here I add salt, as I always say, to your own taste. And I'm also going to add a spoonful of yogurt. Greek or plain yogurt works for me, but always without sugar. The honey will give us that sweetness. Don't worry, your bread won't be salty and sweet at once. It'll turn out delicious. The combination is perfect. A teaspoon of honey will give us the texture we need. We stir it around, and when everything is liquid, we add ground oats. I start with half a cup, which is about 65 grams, and also a teaspoon of baking powder. Mix all of this until you have a thick, paste-like texture. So just keep stirring, and you'll see how it gradually mixes together. And if it turns out a bit too runny, like mine, that's normal. But I like to do it this way to make sure it doesn't get lumpy. If I see it's a bit runny, like in my case, I just add a little more oats and keep stirring. I'm telling you, we need a thick, dense, paste-like texture, just like you see here. Perfect. Let's cook, and it'll be ready in just a few minutes. A drop of oil in a pan, spread it well, so it's an ultra-thin layer, medium heat. And here we go with this fantastic dough. The point is to place it and press it down, giving it the shape you want. I like to make a slightly thick circle, so I keep moving it until I get this shape right here. Then I put the lid on, and that's when the magic happens. A lid on top of the pan creates an oven-like effect, so it turns out perfect on the inside. Depending on your griddle or pan, it might take a little more or less time, in my case. In 5 minutes, it was already toasted and perfect. I flip it over and cook it on the other side as well. And just like before, I put the lid on top to get that oven effect. When you see that it's golden on both sides and that it moves around, that it's not sticking, that means our bread is perfectly cooked. Keep it covered with a bit of kitchen paper on top and underneath. And if it's on a rack, even better. And in a few minutes, your bread will be ready to enjoy. And look at how amazing this super bread we made in just a few minutes looks. And on top of that, with oats, it's just wonderful. Dare to make it, and now you can see that inside, the crumb is fluffy and perfect. I'll enjoy it with some spreadable cheese, which I love. The typical thing would be to make the classic ham and cheese sandwich, or a sweet version with jam. Why not? And look at that delicious bite, and another one. How can it taste so good? Doesn't it ever happen to you that you're surprised because things turn out to be easier than they seemed in your head? Well, you see that making a gluten-free oat bread without a cap is not difficult at all.